What's up, everybody? Today I'm changing the power steering fluid and the power steering filter on my truck, and we're going to be using the maintenance manual for my truck, doing it step by step. This is a 2007 Freightliner Columbia. It's got the Caterpillar C13 engine in it, but generally speaking, you know, these Columbias, they have this sort of a setup. Columbias, Centuries, Coronados, Cascadias. So let's get started.
Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe.
Okay, so this is going to be on page 46 of my manual, 46-02. Step 1, apply the parking brakes and chalk the rear tires. So my parking brake is applied, and the rear tires are chalked, front side and back side. Step 2, place a drain pan under the power steering reservoir and remove the steering gear to reservoir return hose at the reservoir. Drain the power steering fluid into the drain pan and dispose of the fluid properly. Plug the return line fitting on the reservoir. Okay, so I got a bucket under mine. I have already drained mine. Don't worry, I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But a drain pan like this one would work better because it's a little bigger. Man, that step was like 3 steps in one. So we got the drain pan under there. Remove the steering gear to reservoir return hose at the reservoir. So we were looking for the hose that goes from the reservoir to the gearbox, which is going to be this one. Not this one over here, because the one on the bottom goes from the reservoir to your power steering pump. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this spring clamp. And this hose, hopefully it comes off. If it doesn't, we might have to cut a little bit. Okay, let's see. Oh, it actually came off pretty easily. Let's get our bucket under here. I'm gonna go ahead and set my drain pan under here too. Now that's off of there.
I already drained almost all the fluid just by taking loose this little drain plug at the bottom of the gearbox. And because it's at the lowest point on that system, it's going to get most of that fluid out of there, but not all of it.
And that drain plug, it's right here. We're going to go ahead and just take it loose real quick just to see what comes out of it, and then get back to the instructions. And this is with a 5/8 inch socket, and this is a long-winded screw. It takes a second to get it unscrewed. See what comes out of here. A little bit more. Okay, what was the next steps? Drain the steering fluid. We did that. Dispose of the fluid properly. We'll do that. And then plug the return line fitting on the reservoir, which would be this right here. And what works really well for something like this is just a bolt, and get one that kind of fits in there loosely. Do like this with the rag. Might have to double it up. Stick it in there. That worked pretty good actually. So we'll just leave it on there like that. Alright, so now we're on number 3. Loosen the clamp and remove the cover along with the filter spring and the top plate. Might as well pull this back off, because we're going to have to take this off. This is what this is talking about. These are hard to get off, so I use an oil filter wrench on them. So as you can see, there's a little tab here. We're going to have to go counterclockwise, and we might have to push that in, but I bet it'll just probably slide right over it. Put this on there. Yep, it just slides right over it. So there's that. Okay, it said to go ahead and remove the cover. Put that right there. Remove this part. Now, I don't know what it's talking about with the spring.
Okay, mine doesn't have the spring or the plate. The best I can figure is that originally the truck had the spring and the plate set up, and then at some point it was replaced and the new parts called for the setup I have right now, which is going to be just a filter, a seal, the base, and the cap.
By the way, because I know some people are going to ask how often to change the fluid, and it depends on how much you drive the truck. But like mine right here, as you can see, power steering fluid and filter change. It's got that little dot there, which takes you to M3. And this is going to be for service 1, 2, and 3, and then there's service 4, which service 4 also says M3. Now what does that mean? So if you go to this page, it's going to show you what all those different schedules are. Schedule 1 is for vehicles that travel 6,000 or less, and then as you go up, you get to 3 and 4, which are vehicles that travel 60,000 miles or more. So I'm kind of in between Schedule 2 and 3, honestly, but I'm going to go ahead and go off of Schedule 2. So we need to do maintenance M3 for the power steering fluid. Go over here, it takes you to 150,000 miles. Now let's say we were on Schedule 3, which would be like an over-the-road guy, M3. That's every 300,000 miles. That's how often you change your fluid and the filter. All right, so we got all this stuff removed. Finish step 3. Says, note, always replace the power steering reservoir filter when changing the fluid. Yeah, of course, you want to change the filter when you do the fluid. That makes sense. Step 4, remove the filter. It may be necessary to wiggle the filter to remove it from its base. Do not use pliers to aid in the removal of the filter. Pliers could cause metal chips to enter the steering system. Clean the inside of the reservoir using a lint-free cloth. Now I actually have a brand new reservoir I'm putting on there because mine's cracked right here, so might as well replace it. Just so you know, the brand new reservoir comes with all this stuff. It comes with the cap, comes with the filter, comes with the seal. So I will go ahead and take it apart just to show you guys how it works. All right, let's see if we can get this filter off of here. Let's get this seal out of the way. You want to make sure you put the seal back on the same way it came off. There's like a little lip right here. Oh, it actually came off fairly easily. And there you have it. Step 5 says to place the disconnected end of the steering gear to reservoir hose in the drain pan. Well, it's not long enough to go in a drain pan, but if you have something to add to that, like an extension, that'd work great. Or if you have a second person who can hold the hose. But in my case, I'm just using a bungee to make sure the fluid goes straight down, right into the pan. Next step is to raise the front of the vehicle with a floor jack and support it with jack stands. All right, we got these wheels up in the air. Got my 4x4s down here, and I still got a little bit of the weight of the truck on the jack too. But you definitely want to give a little bit of room here because I'm about to have to turn these wheels back and forth. So that's one reason I kind of put that hose in a little bit so I could move in the drain pan some and be able to steer without it hitting on it. Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit tricky. We're still in step 5. So we got the hose put into the drain pan. We got the wheels up in the air. Now it says, have someone turn the steering wheel to the full left and right. Capture the fluid flowing from the hose in the drain pan. Add fluid to the reservoir as needed. When clean power steering fluid flows from the hose, remove the plug from the reservoir and reconnect the hose to the reservoir. Remove the jack stands and lower the vehicle.
As I mentioned earlier, my system is a little different than the instructions are talking about, but I'm going to interpret this as best as I can.
I believe you're supposed to put this back on there without the filter. So we went ahead and plugged it up. So now I'm going to have somebody get up in the truck and turn the wheel back and forth. And fluid is going to come out of here. And I'm going to wait until the fluid is clear. Of course, I need to add fluid first and go ahead and fill this up. And then once the fluid is clean, I'll have them stop. All right, we're going to have my nephew Hayden here. He's going to fill it back up. And you want to use Dex 3 Merc on this. This is from Freightliner. This is what they recommend to use. And it's going to hold about 4 quarts if you drain everything out like I'm doing. All right, so we got Hayden up in here. He's going to turn the wheel as far as he can to the left and then as far as he can to the right. And I'm going to watch the fluid down here. So, all right, go ahead and start turning it. Turn it the other way. Guess I should put that on there probably. Keep turning it. Okay, back the other way. How's that fluid look? That looks pretty good. Okay, you're good. Okay, so the fluid that's coming out now. It's very clean, nice and red like it should be. I should have changed out my reservoir before I did all this because I got a new one, but it's all good. We'll get it. Just have to drain it back out, drain it into a clean bucket, and then we can reuse it. It'll be fine. Had to get out the big guns for this. All right, hit it. Hold on. It came off. Well, I had to end up getting that one off, and it just broke. Completely snapped. I bet these other ones are going to break too. We got one here and one over here.
Wait, how did it break?
It's just rusted on there. Okay, we got our new reservoir on there. Now we can go ahead and reconnect the line, hook that back up, and then put our clamp back on there. Just like that. Okay, we're still in step 5. We got everything hooked back up. It says to go ahead and remove the jack stands and lower the vehicle. Can you grab these blocks for me? I gotta jack it up a little bit. Okay, now we're on step 6. With the larger opening at the top, install a new filter in the reservoir. And it says on step 7, clean the reservoir cover and gasket, inspect the O-ring and cover for cracks, deformities, or damage. Replace the gasket seal or cover as needed. Install the reservoir cap. This is step 8. Install the reservoir cap along with the spring and the top plate. Make sure the center of the top plate fits into the opening at the top of the filter. Place the clamp over the flanges of the cover and shell assembly, then tighten 25 to 30 pound-feet. Alright, so ours is already installed, but I'll kind of show you, which we already had the other one apart. But yeah, it's good to make sure that everything is on there. It's supposed to be, but you never know. Yep, it's got the seal on there. I can feel it. New oil, the new filter's on there. Just put it back on there. Of course, you would clean this up normally, you know, if you're using your old one. Thread this back on there. And then just turn it till that tab goes right past, right there. You can always use these if you need to. That's perfect. Step 10 is fill the power steering reservoir with approved power steering fluid to the full cold mark, which is going to be right here. Okay, we got it all buttoned up. I went ahead and filled it up because it's just going to drop down anyway as soon as I start the truck, because there's no oil right now in that gearbox. I also got to keep an eye on this because I just changed out the antifreeze, had to put a new radiator in this truck. So this next page, it'll show you the approved types of fluid or oil you can put in your power steering system, and anything manufactured after November 4th, 2002 has to have Dexron 2 or Dexron 3. If your engine was manufactured before November 4th, 2002, it gives you a list of all these different types of oil. So there you go. Step 11, start the engine and operate it at idle. Turn the steering wheel to full lock left and right to adjust the fluid level and remove any existing air from the power steering pump and gear. Recheck the fluid level, add fluid as needed. The system is properly bled when the steering pump does not labor when turning the wheel. Step 12, check for leaks in the power system and repair as needed. Top off the power steering fluid as needed. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start the truck. That antifreeze, it's going to drop. So is the power steering. Alright everybody, thank you for watching. I've had this truck, idling for about 30 minutes just to make sure I don't have any leaks on it as far as the power steering goes or the coolant, and looks good, no leaks. Of course, I'm going to check this, you know, once I get rolling down the road, probably another 15 or 20 miles, because that thermostat's going to open up on the coolant, and plus it'll probably settle a little bit over time. But it looks good right now. It's right in the center. That's about where I want it to be. I guess that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you want to comment and let me know, you know, I did something wrong on this, because I am pretty much self-taught. I do most of my research on YouTube, so I am wrong sometimes. But this seemed like it worked pretty well. It seemed like it bled all the power steering fluid out, the old stuff, and flushed it out, and we got the new stuff in there. Looks good. I'm glad I did it. So another, what was that, 150,000 miles, and we'll do it again. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Remember to subscribe.